guys, thanks for joining me again. Brandon Johnson here. Today we're looking at Monroe's Hornpipe. This is one of those old-time classic fiddle tunes. It's a really fun song to play because you're playing off of like the first three notes of each chord. There's a lot of chord motion, especially in part A. There's a couple really cool licks in it too. There's a nice intro lick. It's kind of Tony Rice style. I learned this song based on the Blake and Rice version, which is off Blake and Rice, which is their album that they made together. And the version of Monroe's Hornpipe on there is great, so check it out. This time we're playing it capo 2 in the key of A. So I hope you enjoy it, and let's check it out. Alright, let's talk about Monroe's Hornpipe. So this song's in the key of A, and we're playing it in the G position. Now this song starts with an intro that I got from the Blake and Rice album. And Tony Rice is playing this intro, so it's a Tony Rice style intro. And he originally got this from Clarence White. So when we look at this intro, we're starting on the open E on a downstroke, followed by an upstroke. This is all alternating picking. Okay, so when you look at measure number 1 for the intro, one thing you can kind of do is you can kind of break this up into two parts, the first half and the second half. So the first half would be ending right there on the upstroke on the 2nd fret E string. And then that's kind of the first half. And this is kind of how I break it up in my mind. And then the second half, we'll start with that downstroke on the open E. And you can kind of hear what I mean there, because it's the same measure, but you know, you're kind of starting over on that open E because you play the open E right off the bat. And then when you get to kind of the second half of the first measure, there's another open E. Okay, so let's play measure number 1, start to finish. And remember, you can kind of break it up into two parts in your mind. So think about it that way. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so let's take a look at measure number 2, the second half of the intro. Okay, and we're starting with our open G on a downstroke, followed by an upstroke on the 2nd fret G. Okay, so right there, you're hitting that open B. And on the tab I have it as a hammer on, so that would be... But I've actually heard it played both ways, so you could do it with the hammer on like this, or you could pick it, so you could go. Okay, that's kind of up to you, and it's not really something that you'll probably think about as you're playing this lick. It'll just happen by itself, but either one works. Okay, so once you hit that open B with the upstroke, you're going back to the 4th fret G on a downstroke. So there's a lot of repeated notes here, and you're using a lot of open strings like you do in flat picking. Okay, and you're going back down to the 4th fret G string. And then right here, you're going to do a little chromatic move. So you're moving down the fretboard, and you're hitting each fret. And you'll see that pull off there. You'll notice there that move right at the end where he goes, that's actually in the actual melody from Monroe's Hornpipe, so it ties in really well to this song. Although you could use this intro on just about any song in the key of G, and it would probably sound pretty good. So, okay, so let's play measure number 2 by itself, start to finish. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's a couple ways you could play this. There's a little bit of nuance here, but because of the way that Monroe's Hornpipe sounds, it has kind of a staccato attack type of a sound to it. For this lick, you could play it a couple different ways. So you could play it this way. Or you could play it like this. So instead of going, you're going. So it'd be. And either one works. It's just a matter of preference. So. Okay, so let's play measures 1 and 2 of the intro, start to finish. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so now let's get into the actual song and the actual melody from Monroe's Hornpipe. We learned the intro, we played the intro, and now we're going to get into the actual melody, so let's check it out. Okay, so when we look at part 1 from Monroe's Hornpipe, we played the intro, and now we're getting into the actual melody itself. Now this song is really cool in that the melody actually follows the chords really, really closely. So there's a lot of chords in this song. Every measure of part 1 has a chord for each quarter note. So we're playing G, C, D, and G for each measure. So it's. And the melody follows those chords really closely. So when we look at measure number 1, we're starting with the 3rd fret low E, which is the 1 note or the first note in the open G chord. We're starting with a downstroke. And then we're going up to that C. So we're hitting 3rd fret A string on the C note. And then we're going to that D, so we're starting with an open D. So you'll notice that every time you hit the one note from whatever chord you're on, so if we're on G, we're starting on a downstroke. So it's downstroke, upstroke, downstroke. And then we get to the C and we're doing another downstroke. Then we get to the D and we're doing another downstroke. One thing you want to think about too is nuance. You want to think about how you're picking these notes, and you want to add dynamics to your picking. So one thing I like to do on this song, and one thing that I think about when I'm playing this, is I like to pick the first two notes of each chord quickly. So for example, it would sound like this. So you can hear I'm kind of emphasizing the... You want to kind of add a little bit of dynamics to your playing and a little bit of nuance. So think about picking those first three notes quickly. And same with this. You want to kind of pick that quickly. And you're still playing in time, you're still playing to the tempo, but you're just kind of emphasizing those notes a little bit with your picking, with your right hand. Okay, so let's play all of measure number 1, start to finish. 1, 2, 3, 4. One, two, three, 4. And you also want to be paying attention to where you're picking it too. So you want to pick it just over the end of the sound hole, but slightly back. And when I pick slightly back here, you're kind of, there's more tension in the strings because you're getting closer to the bridge. So that actually allows me to pick faster and kind of cleaner because I'm picking on strings that have more tension in them. So they don't have as much bounce back, and I can get a nice, clean, fast pick off of it. All right, let's take a look at measure number 2. So the first measure, we played this. And in the second measure, we're playing the exact same thing until you get to the end. So it would sound like this. Okay, so we're just leaving out the at the end, just those two notes. Okay, so let's play measures 1 and 2 together so you can kind of hear how they contrast each other. They basically are the same, but there's a slight difference, and you'll be able to hear it right away when you hear them back to back. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so let's check out measure number 3. Now measure number 3 is exactly the same as measure number 1, so that makes life easy. So we're going to be playing measure number 1 and measure number 2 basically repeated as measures number 3 and measures number 4. And at the end you'll see a repeat sign. So not only are we repeating measures 1 and 2, we're also repeating part A twice. So you're actually playing almost the same phrase 8 times. Let's check it out. Okay, so measure number 3 is the same as measure number 1. So it's going to sound like this. And measure number 4 is the same as measure number 2. So it's going to sound like this. Okay, so now let's play all of part A. So that's measures 1 through 4. And basically 1 and 2 is the same as 3 and 4. So you're just repeating the same thing that you learned in 1 and 2 in measures 3 and 4. And then we're going to repeat part A twice. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and that would repeat twice. So that whole phrase that I just played would repeat again. And that's why you see that repeat sign there. And also think about when you're increasing the speed on this song. This is one of those songs that tends to be played pretty fast when you hear it, when you hear different versions of it. So if you're increasing the speed on this one, I would recommend moving your picking hand slightly towards the bridge so that you're picking on a little bit more tension.